see. Um, mm, there we go. That looks a lot better. All right. So, meteorologist Chris Sowers here. Today is Sunday. It's June 14th, about 9:35 in the morning. Kind of doing this as a test run. If you haven't already checked it out, my new digital weather platform is Sowers Skywatch.com. SOWERS SKYWATCH.com, and that's where I do a lot of my lives. I've had a few issues with the live stream lately. I think we've got that all uh, you know, taken care of now. But I just want to, what I want to do is just kind of test out on on the YouTube platform working. So in the chat section, okay, if for whatever reason I should freeze up or my voice sounds scratchy on this platform, please let me know, and that way I can get that to my guys that are taking care of the stream. All right, what I want to do here is just quickly focus on today's severe threat, which I have to tell you, I mean, the SPC has got a pretty good risk out for strong gusty winds. You can see it's very elevated here. High probability from, let's say, New York City, the Poconos, the New York PA state line south, all the way down to Richmond. And actually, it looks like it could be as far south as northern North Carolina, according to the SPC. Um, we've seen this a couple times now over the last week, and a lot of the thunderstorms just never really saw their full potential, never really got to the levels that the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center was projecting them to be, which is good, right? We don't need to see a lot of damage, at least for the I-95 corridor. Now, out in western Pennsylvania, it's a different ballgame. They've had tornadoes, they've had a lot of wind damage, and a lot of strong straight line wind events, but the storms over the past week have seemed to kind of weaken as they've marched east. And by the time they make their way to the I-95 corridor, yes, a lot of these storms are warned. They do have a warn tag on them, but that's a lot of times because of what they were prior to moving into the heart of the Philadelphia area. Again, they're weakening, so we'll get a heavy thunderstorm with maybe 40-mile-an-hour winds or 45-mile-an-hour winds, and you get a drenching downpour, but that's it. This could end up being a little different. Okay. You can see the heightened concern up and down the I-95 corridor. We got a little bit of upper level support here. Okay. So I know this is going to come in late in the day. If you have outdoor plans today is gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. From New York City to Trenton to Philadelphia to Baltimore, DC to Richmond. It is a beautiful day. Okay. Late. Very, very late. So make the pool plans. All right. Make your pool plans now. Make the barbecue plans. If you want to head to the Jersey Shore, the Delaware beaches, or Ocean City, Maryland, going to be a great day for all of that. But what I would advise is after 5 p.m. or so, then you may want to just kind of keep an eye out and just kind of keep an eye to the sky as storms are going to start to pop. This is the wind threat. Again, elevated up and down the I-95 corridor. Here's the good news. All right. Oh, yes. You know what? I'm going to take that back. Looks like they literally just updated this. Okay. All right, well, now we've got a tornado threat again. The Storm Prediction Center overnight had completely nixed this and got rid of it, and now it looks like they have put it up there again. All right, so we do have a tornado threat. Now, it is low. All right, you can see if you look towards the bottom there, that shade of green, it is low. All right, but it is a tornado threat nonetheless. So, hi, everybody. I see you guys in the chat. Okay, so Miss Pomery says, you're buffering on and off, or am I buffering on and off? Okay, because that's one of the things I need to know before I go live on SowersSkywatch.com, because the signal here, we don't make settlement on our house until the 24th. So I'm at my brother's house right now, and I am kind of far away from, I'm all the way out here in the backyard, so I am kind of far away from the router. So I don't know how my internet connection is right now. But again, if you're seeing problems with my connection, please let me know. All right, so there's your tornado threat here. It extends from the Finger Lakes region through Harrisburg into Philadelphia, Baltimore, D.C., and now Richmond west into the Pittsburgh and Cleveland areas. So this is an add-on. They originally had dropped this, and all of a sudden, looks like they have decided to add it again. So we're going to have to keep an eye out for that. There's also now a hail threat. Man, they've really done a number and updated this, huh? All right, so now we have a strong wind gust threat, which is right here, straight line wind, a tornado threat, and a hail threat. Okay, let's go over to the forecast models. All right, I have two high resolution forecast models. What you're looking at here is the RRFS. This is supposed to be the successor to the NAM. Okay, the NAM's been around a long time. They've made some upgrades to it in recent years, but it looks like they've now put out this RRFS, this rapid refresh forecast model here. It's a very high resolution forecast model. What I have noticed with this one, all right, now it's only been out for a short period of time. What I have noticed with this one is it tends to make thunderstorms a lot worse than they end up being. Not all the time, but a lot of times. So take this with a grain of salt. What I've done here is I'm going to show you this model first, and then I'm going to go over to another CAMS model, the HRRR, and we're going to play them back to back, and we'll see, what they look like stacked up against each other. So forecast model, we're going to start you out at 7 o'clock in the evening. So again, most of today is good. Okay, look at where this model, you know what, it would be, hold on, it would be great if I actually, so this is what I have to, let me share the screen again. This time, let me go over to right, there it is. Let's try that one. Okay, good. This is what these are the kind of things I have to remember. Look at the rapid refresh. Okay, so you can see how heavy the weather is out to the west, but notice the timestamp on the upper right, which, by the way, if you've ever been curious about this, you see the 23Z. All of these forecast models are in Zulu time. Okay, that's what the Z represents. 23Z is 7 p.m. 00Z, which is right here. Okay, again, look in the upper right-hand corner there. You see where it says valid 00Z, Monday, June 15th, 2026. All right, that 00Z is 8 p.m. today. All right, so prior to this, there's nothing going on from New York City to Philadelphia to Baltimore, D.C., and Richmond. That's why I was saying it's going to be a beautiful day out here. It's hot. All right, temperatures get all the way up into the 90s again, and we get a little humid again. So your heat index is probably going to be mid 90s at the very least. But it's nice. You get a combination of sun and clouds. Here's 9 o'clock. All right, here's 10. Right there in the middle of your screen, okay? Right where Reading would be and Chester County would be in the Philadelphia television market. And then look a little bit farther to the south in the Salisbury television market. You got some big cells there too. So this is what the Storm Prediction Center is worried about here. The setup today, the atmospheric setup would support linear segments like what you're trying to see here, what the model's trying to show. And with the winds just off the deck being fairly strong, you could get some bowing out of this. And so that's why they're concerned about 60, 65 mile an hour winds potentially. I've seen a few tags over the last week or so of 70 mile an hour winds. Now, I haven't seen any confirmation on anything like that. Up and down the I-95 corridor, again, west of Harrisburg, it's been a different story, but I'm talking about I-95 corridor. I've seen 70 mile an hour tags on some of the storm warnings that were issued over the last week out and through here, but I haven't seen any confirmation of that, which is good. Okay, so that's 10. That's 11. You got big, big thunderstorms that are rumbling through. All right, there's midnight, heavy, heavy thunderstorms pushing through South Jersey. Heavy thunderstorms working their way off the coast of Delmarva and the Delaware beaches. All right, there's 2 o'clock in the morning, and at that point, everything's starting to settle down. All right, let's do this. Let's share this. Now, what you're looking at, this is another CAMS model. This, look in the upper right. I'm sorry, upper left. This is the HRRR. Okay, so had a good history of dealing with convection or dealing with thunderstorms. All right, so you just saw on the rapid refresh, it's a quiet day. And then after 7, 8 p.m., boom, that's when the thunderstorms start moving in from west to east. Let's see what the HRR shows. All right, so this is 7 p.m. All right, so let me rewind it real quick. Okay, See that? Not much going on. There's 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9, 10, 11, midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's gone. So, you know, what you notice there is the intensity on the HRR is not quite as intense as the rapid refresh. But the timeline on both of those models is very similar. They both want to bring thunderstorms in after 6, 7 p.m. or so from west to east across the major television markets up and down the I-95 corridor. DC, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York. So again, most of today is beautiful. Um, let's go over to the NBM. Okay, so this is, yep, what I do. Again, working my way around, trying to figure out YouTube. Let's go right. Let's go right there. All right. So there we go. So there's a look at your thunderstorm threat. Okay. Now let's take a look at the temperatures. So this is for the Philadelphia area. If you guys have any requests, let me know. I could zoom into DC. I could zoom into Baltimore. I could zoom into New York City. I have access to all of them, so I can, I can look at any particular location you would like. But the one thing that I want to point out today, yesterday, gorgeous day, right? Oh my gosh! I mean, we were out here by the pool day. I mean, it was incredible. It was still really warm. We were right around 90 degrees, but there was no humidity. And even right now, dew points have come up a little bit. But my gosh, if it stayed like this, I could sit out here all day. I mean, it's gorgeous out here right now. Here's a look at the high temperatures. All right, we got a lot of mid 90s today. Okay, so let's fast forward 70s tomorrow and no humidity at all. Tuesday, a lot of upper 70s. There's going to be a couple of out there, but Tuesday's another incredible day. Wednesday, we start to go into the low 80s, but this is not bad. Thursday starts to get warm again. All right, you can see the low 90s starting to pop, and there's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Okay, so I mean, it is. What are we at the 14th now? It's June 14th, so we're almost here. Summer officially begins, I believe it's the 20th or the 21st, so we're getting close. The kind of warmth is expected, and you just gotta hope that if you're somebody that doesn't like the heat and humidity, you just have to, because up to this point, we've seen a lot of this. You just have to hope that we continue to get these fronts that'll come in and occasionally knock the heat and humidity down for a couple of days, which is what has happened up to this point. We've been very, very fortunate. Okay. Where I was forecasting in Florida over the last 18, 19 months, once you got into the rainy season, which begins May 15th, once you got into the rainy season, it was hot and it was humid every single day. Fronts don't get that far down. You're just too far south that this time of the year to get your cool downs there. Um, so every day your dew points are upper 70s. I mean, it just, if you don't like humidity, it just is disgusting, and that's why you get a lot of snowbirds. People will go down there from, let's say, probably right after Halloween, and they may come home for Thanksgiving, but they're generally there after Halloween, and then they stay until like Easter, because you've never. I will say this: for as hot and awful as it feels down there, June, July, August, and September, I've never seen nicer weather in my life when it comes to December, January, February, March, and even the first part of April. So you get an incredible stretch of weather down there, and you get an awful stretch of weather down there. Um, but anyway, getting back to my point, my original point, that is why we're in a good spot here in the Philadelphia area, because in terms of latitude, we are still pretty far to the north. So the fronts will tend to push through. We may get stretches here where it's really, really hot and humid for 5, 6, 7. I've seen 8-day heat waves, but eventually the fronts come through. Down there, the front doesn't come through again until October. So you're measuring the heat in months and not days. Okay, let me read some. Let me read some of the comments. What I'm going to do. Okay, so I just use this as a practice run. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in here. I hope you have a good handle on what to expect today. If not, okay. So Kathy says I am freezing up. All right. If not, all right, go over to sourskywatch.com. All right, I've got, scroll down. You're going to see the video blog. It's got all the latest forecasts. Okay, it also has 3 sections that I'm forecasting: the big story, Philadelphia, the Delaware Valley, which includes the Lehigh Valley, and the Jersey Shore. I've got all the latest forecasts there. Okay, so let me read some of these comments. Let's see. I would probably stay closer to the router when you are completely live, especially since your audio sounds weird every so often. Okay, so maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe I am just, but I love it out here. I don't want to. I don't want to go inside. I don't want to go so close because this is. I'm sitting under the tree. I'm poolside. But maybe that's exactly what's going on. Maybe I am freezing up here because I'm just too far from the router. Frozen again. Oh gosh, buffering. Seems when you split screen, there seems to be some slower pixel. When back to just you, it's better. All right, so let me ask you guys this. There's only about 12, 13 people on right now. So I can clearly, because I had a decent audience, I can tell I'm cutting out or I'm freezing. So let me ask you guys right now, am I freezing up right here? Like right now as I'm talking? Am I freezing up at all? If you could, let me know in the chat section here. Hopefully I'm not. Um, See, I can see myself moving in the video. I am looking at the YouTube right now. I can see myself in the video, and I could see my mouth moving. I could see my hands moving. It doesn't look like I'm freezing up. Okay. No, everyone says no, 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 no. Okay, so thank you guys for responding. So it only seems like I'm freezing. Just to make sure I get this straight. So it only seems like I'm freezing then when I'm going back and forth between this full screen image and the graphics. Does that sound right to you guys? Is that what's going on? If you guys could comment. All right, Pat says it's perfect. Okay, so does a lot of other people. So, but I know there was a couple of times where I must have froze because I watched my audience drop a ton. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay, so back and forth. All right, so back and forth is when I seem to be having the problems here. Okay, that's good to know. So what I'll do here, give me like an hour, all right, and I'll do another one of these. And this time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go a lot closer. I might even go inside. I might even go inside in the kitchen on the kitchen table and see what it's like there. Eventually, I will figure this out, and especially later today, right? This evening, if there's severe weather, I want to make sure there's no hiccups with the stream. Okay, split screen. I had problems. Interesting. Why would see? That's what doesn't make any sense to me, Mary. Thank you for commenting. Because why would that? I mean, it's still the same stream regardless, whether or not I'm split screen or not. Why would that? I don't understand that. All right, I'll tell you what, guys. Let's try it again real quick. I'm going to try to do split screen real quick, okay? Let's see. All right, share the screen. Let's go right here. Okay. Now I'm sharing the screen again. Oh, hold on. Let me. Okay. How do I? Am I okay right now? All right, hold on. So how are we doing right now? Do we seem to be? Does the signal seem to be okay? I'm just kind of moving myself in the lower right corner, and I want to see if it's slow or it's pixely or anything. Do I seem to be okay right now, or is this I'm good? You can try to test your speed on both. Uh, what Kathy? When you say yes, does that mean yes I'm good or yes you're having problems? Uh, yes, got it. Okay, so you're slowing up. One says slowing up. That doesn't. Wow, that's. I mean, I'm no internet tech guru. I don't understand. Oh, I got an idea. Here, let's do this. I'm gonna walk closer to the house, okay? And we'll see if this gets any better. You know what? I'll just do this right now. I'm gonna go right inside and on the kitchen table, and let's see whether or not things get a little bit better. How's that? Hi, good buddy. Hi, doggies. All right, let's see. All right, come on, buddy. Come on, boy. All right, let's see real quick. All right, before I let you go. All right, you are slow but still working. How about right now? Now I'm inside. Okay. Hi, Gar. Now I'm inside, and now I'm actually very close to the router. So I'm gonna keep talking for a couple minutes. Let me know if I'm still, if I'm back to normal or am I still slow? How's it working now? Are we doing okay? I'm gonna keep talking. And if you guys could just let me know how I sound, how the signal looks. Do I still sound so far so good? I think this is it. You are slow but still working. How about now, guys? Now that I'm inside, how is everything good? Seems smoother, very good. That seems a little better. That's got to be it. Wow, that might be the problem. I love being outside because it's beautiful out there. Great now. It's got to be it. So Garrett, the signal is much stronger here than it is. Where is the router situated? It's upstairs in your room? Then I bet you if I was upstairs in his room, it'd probably be lights out, really, really fast. Sound is good. Video is a lot smoother. Okay for me. Either place was good for me. Graphic split screen. Thank you. Very good here. All right. So maybe that's my plan of attack. When I go live for the storms later on, maybe I'm going to have to be pretty close to the router. I think we just figured this out. Okay. You need to be lightened. I know. I'm not worried about the picture there. I know. It's because you've got the sunlight behind me, so it's naturally darkening everything up front. That used to happen all the time when I was working for television stations. They'd always have to put something behind me to kind of even out the lighting. I'm not worried about that. That's just me moving somewhere else, and that'll fix. I just need to know how the signal is. You sound better too. You need to be like, oh, that's okay for me. Either place was good. Okay, can you go back to one screen? Oh, that's a good call. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so stop sharing. Good call on your part. All right, so how about, well, now this looks good. I can see myself here and I'm moving fine. It looks like gosh, this looks a lot better. Why would that be? Not that it looked bad, in the split screen, but why would it be this much better full? It's the same stream. I don't get it. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense. All right, let's, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try it again one more time, and let's see how we do this time. Now I'm back to the split screen. Let's see. Let me know what you guys think now. I'll just keep talking real quick. Let me know how I sound, if I sound slower, if I'm kind of in and out, if your video is pixelated. Let me know how I sound, okay? I've taken a lot off this computer too, so I can't imagine. Yeah, see, I'm looking at my hand motion, and I'm going fast with my finger here, and it doesn't. All right, so looks and sounds good. So right now, everything seems okay. A lot less choppy inside. Sound is good, not pixelated. Sound is fine. Map is fine. You are a tiny bit slow. Is it, Aaron? Is it slow to the point where it's annoying and you can't follow, or are you still able to follow along? Bizarre says a lot better. Yes, split screen is pixelated on my end, but it sounds fine. Pat says all is fine. It cracks me up, right? Because we pay Comcast and Verizon all this money for high-speed internet. We shouldn't have problems. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm just going to keep talking. I'm going to ask you guys for a couple more minutes. Once we get to we've been live for about 24 minutes. Let's get to 25 or 26, and then I'll end it. But I just need a good. Matt might be slowing you down. It's slower, but I can follow you. That's what Mary says. Please run a model to see if you. That's a good call. That's a good call. All right, let's do this. All right, I'm gonna work this model through. I'm just gonna set it in motion, and let me know how I sound now. What I'm about to say is nonsense. It has nothing to do with nothing, but I want to keep talking while I'm setting this in motion, so you guys can hear my voice and let me know if I sound, distorted or whatever. So here comes, looks like a good day. Here comes the showers and thunderstorms. Notice the big red blobs there overnight tonight after 11 p.m. And then they work off the coast and out to sea. And then we wake up tomorrow morning. It's gorgeous with low humidity, a lot of sunshine. Tuesday's another great day. Wednesday is another. Here's Wednesday. Wednesday, there could be a couple of showers, but Wednesday's not a bad day. All right, and Thursday. All right, how was that, guys? Did I sound okay there? As I was talking over when I set that in motion? Not too bad. Okay. Now it's great. No freezing. All right. I think that's what I'm going to have to do then. I think I'm going to have to be inside when I do these. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Again, go to Sound is Good. Map is good. Aaron says. Bernadette says great. Kathy says great. Karen says now it's working good. I don't understand. Okay. If it's working good now, awesome. Audio has always sounded good. That's what Marianne says. Okay. Okay, guys. All right. Thanks for bearing with me. Hope you remember the forecast. What we talked about. Severe threat is going to be very, very late today. So, if you have outdoor plans, you should be fine at least through 6 or 7 p.m. And then I would, kind of stay weather aware. Remember, go to SourSkywatch.com. I'll have all your latest weather updates there. Anything you need to know. Jersey Shore, Delaware, and Lehigh Valleys. What the big story is going to be this week. It's all there, plus the video blog. All right, you guys take care. I'll see you a little later today. All right, have a good Sunday.